Rabbi Wilhelm, are you looking for the Baal Shem Tov?
Why would the Baal Shem Tov be only here? The Baal Shem Tov is everywhere.
In the woods, it's Beninus.
Anyways, Ben Singh, I know you're rushing, and you asked me to say a couple of words for the Parsha. You know what's on my mind? And it's obviously everybody's mind now, the situation there at Yisrael. But what's the lesson that you learned from this week's Parsha? So all the troubles that are happening now stem from Yishma'el. Yishma'el's mixed messages we're getting about Yishma'el here. First of all, he starts off as a Ben Ha'amah. He starts off the son of a maidservant, Hagar, and he's causing problems. And Avram wants to keep him, and Sarah wants to kick him out. And the Abishah says, listen to Sarah, kick him out. Boom. Right? So that's that we learned last week's Parsha. And this week's Parsha, very funny. Here he is a big troublemaker. And it comes when Avram Avinu passes away. It says, Yitzchak and Yishma'el buried Avram. So Rashi says, Mikan Sha'asa Tshuva. From here we know that the fact that Yishma'el, who was older, allowed Yitzchak first to take care of his father during the burial, is a raya that he did tshuva. And the Chazal actually say that the tshuva was done b'chaye Avram, but it's not brought till here. So the Rebbe explains that why is it only proven over here? Because what was the main fight Yishma'el had against Yitzchak? That Yishma'el really deep down knew that he's not in the same level as Yitzchak. He's not a real son. He's a Ben Ha'amah. When it comes to the Yerusha, it comes to the inheritance, it comes to whatever Avram Avinu represents, Yitzchak is the real son. So much so that the earlier it says that when the Malach came to tell Sarah the good news that she's gonna have a child, the pasuk says, and that there's somebody behind the door also heard the good news. Who was that somebody that also heard the good news? That Yishma'el. When he heard that good news, it was a shock in his heart. Oh, I'm a nobody. The Sarah is going to have a child, and I'm going to be washed away. Yeah. You're going to be washed away. You're not the real deal. You're just trouble. And that's what caused him real animosity against Yitzchak. Against everything that Yitzchak represents. And yet, says the Rebbe, when you see that after the Kavura, after the B'tira of Avram, only there you see that he was able to do tshuva, because at that point, when you're dealing about the Yerusha of Avram, and he says, Yitzchak, go first, so you see that he did tshuva. Yishma'el did tshuva. The pasuk goes on to say, the last, mamash my maftir, the pasuk says, Ve'ela, tell this Yishma'el, who cares about Yishma'el? Who cares about his descendants? He's a troublemaker from troublemaker land. Well, right? And so Rashi says why we're even discussing Yishma'el. But I want to conclude with the last three words in the parsha. It says Al pnei kol haaretz nafol. So Rashi says that Yishma'el camped, settled amongst all the places. He just settled everywhere. Nafol. Rashi says nafol usually means it fell. Over here it means yishkoin. He dwelled. That's not what it says. It says nafol. So Rashi says earlier in Chaye Avram, when Avram was alive, he was camping. Once Avram dies, once Avram passes away, Yishma'el's kaput. Now the Medrash on next week's parsha, the words nafol is the last words of this parsha. And next parsha starts ve'ela told this Yitzchak. So the Medrash says a fascinating thing. The end of this week's parsha speaks about the descendants of Avram, how we have a Yishma'el. He's talking about Yitzchak, he's Ben Ha'amah. So the next parsha continues, and guess what? Yitzchak also had an Esav. So the Medrash turns this whole connection into a very negative thing. And the Rebbe goes on to explain a whole sikha. You look in Chelik Tezvav. Avram has Yishma'el, Yitzchak has Esav, and what are the differences between these two sons to their father? Esav, for example, doesn't say he did tshuva. It's a phenomenal sikha. Doesn't say he did tshuva, yet his head is buried in the Ma'aras Machpelah. Yishma'el says now we know it says he did tshuva, but he's somewhere in the boondocks. In other words, and the Rebbe says a beautiful difference between the two. Yishma'el, even if he did tshuva, he was on his own. He never really connected back to the source. So the truth is, at the end, we see the true colors of Yishma'el. You see he's on his own, he's a nobody. Esav, says the Rebbe, the deep pound of Esav, the head of Esav is attack on the Mara Samach Belis. In a certain sense, Esav is higher. Well, you'll see that's a Chelik Tezvav, a beautiful beer in the Sikha. But I want to take the positive spin. The positive spin is the Balaturim. The Balaturim at the end says, Al Pnei Kol Achav Nafo, whatever the last pasuk is, the Eila told this Yitzchak. Balaturim says the reason these two psukim go connected one to another, you want to know when Yitzchak rises, when Yishma'el falls. When Yishma'el goes into the Nerd, Yitzchak rises. And that's the time that we're waiting for. So much so, not only me and you are waiting for. The Gemara says in Sukkah, you know what the Gemara says in Sukkah, Daf Nun Beis?
What?
The Gemara says, Arba Devarim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Meschart Aleim B'chol Yom. There are 4 things that Eibishter Kvayochel regrets every day for what he created. 2 out of the 4 he could take care of in a minute. One of them, the Rebbe would quote always, Gullus. The Eibishter regrets that he put the Yidden in Gullus and all that. And the second one is Yishma'el. The Eibishter regrets for creating a monster called Yishma'el. Incidentally, it's funny that the Poskim say, if Yishma'el is such a monster, why do we have this great Tana called Rabbi Yishma'el? Mm-hmm. And the answer, and you now Shem Rishayim Yirkov. And the answer is because, Yishma'el did tshuva. Tshuva shmuva. The bottom line is here we know what Yishma'el stands for, right? So back to the point. The Eibishter is regretting the fact that he created the Golus. The Eibishter is regretting the fact that he creates Yishma'el. He could kill 2 birds in 1 stone. According to the Baal Turim, get rid of Yishma'el, and there's no more Golus. And let that be right away.
Amen.